Jets Ward.
ETS Jets. What is going on, Jet fans? And welcome back to another episode of the Jets Ward. I am your host, Ryan Ward, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys. Welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome back. You know I love having you guys here. If you are new here, welcome. Whether you're a Jets fan, a fan of another team, or just a casual NFL fan, you are always welcome here in the Jets Ward. This is a safe space for you. But man, I have a fun one for you guys in this video. There has been a lot of things that have been going on so far since the waiver wires have cleared. Players have been getting onto practice squads. Practice squads have been being made. 53-man rosters have been built. But we had some big news coming out of Jets camp today. And a major trade that could impact a lot of teams, especially in the NFC North. But first, today, our general manager for the Jets, Darren Mougeys, had a press conference talking about what he's seen from the team, how much he likes training camp so far, and basically the future of the Jets. So I'm going to jump right into that. So Darren Mougeys got up today and spoke in front of the press, and there were some good things that he came out with, and I really like Darren Mougeys. I think he's made a lot of great moves so far, but he talked today about the future of the Jets and how he likes what he saw from training camp, the preseason games, and he feels comfortable with the roster that we've built. Another thing he said was that the roster is fluid, that they're going to go back upstairs and they're going to continue to add players that fit this roster and that make it better, which is very important because the next thing he had to talk about was the wide receiver room. And before we get into the wide receiver room, he also talked about Justin Fields and how he's seen growth in Justin Fields as a player, as a leader on this team, which giving a lot of confidence to him and showing a lot of faith that he can be our franchise quarterback. But getting into the receiver room, he was asked about the quality of this receiver room, basically. And he says that he is happy with the whole wide receiver room group, that they all complement each other. And he went down and broke down a lot of these players. Garrett Wilson, he said that he could do everything. He could line up on the outside. He could line up on the inside. Great route runner, great hands, great leader. Another thing, he had Josh Reynolds, veteran, knows the offense. Alan Lazard has been here, another savvy veteran. Arian Smith, he talked about the blazing speed. Xavier Gibson with the special teams. He said all of these guys complement each other. And he even mentioned Tyler Johnson, who the Jets just cut yesterday and signed to the practice squad. So bringing him up indicates that the Jets are obviously going to bring Tyler Johnson up for week 1 of the Jets versus the Steelers, just to make sure that we have a good enough receivers on the team. Because right now we only have 5 on the roster. Tyler Johnson was our 6th. Now he's on the practice squad. And this would be the only one I have pushback against Darren Mougeys because this receiver room is not great, in my opinion. And you guys have heard me for the past couple of days talking about how upset I've been about this receiver room. We have great young talent that he's brought back to the practice squad that we saw. A lot of young receivers, Brandon Smith, Jamal Pritchett, Quentin Skinner. He brought all of them back onto the practice squad, which is great. We went after and got Jelani Woods as a tight end who can help in the passing game, in the blocking game. He's comfortable with the receiver room, but a majority of these Jets fans are not. But I'll mention something I said a few minutes ago. He did say that this roster is fluid still, meaning that changes can be made still, that they're going to do whatever is best for this team, that they're going to go back upstairs, in his words, and make changes, add players that fit this roster that make it better. To me, that could possibly be an edge rusher that the Jets could be interested in. Maybe a Zadarius Smith or Jadeveon Clowney. Adding a wide receiver. I don't know if Javon Baker made it through waiver wires. He was waived by the Patriots yesterday, a young receiver who was drafted by the Patriots last year. He could be a solid option. You could go after Kendrick Bourne, who has dealt with injuries in the past, but he would be an upgrade over what we have now, other than Garrett Wilson. Do you go with the trading route? Could you target a Jordan Addison, who, yes, he's going to miss the first 3 games because of a suspension, but still a very good wide receiver 1, high wide receiver 2. Do you try to go for a Jacoby Myers? Do you try to go for an Alec Pierce? With the words that he said that this roster is fluid, gives me hope that they're trying to make moves, that they are interested in bringing more talent in here. So I'll take a step back on the rants I've been giving and just let it play out. But right now, they desperately, in my opinion, need to make a move for a receiver. He also talked about the defensive line, how he loves what the room looks like, that they're going to be a dominant defensive line. Talked about the trade for Harrison Phillips, where he said that when he saw that guy's name pop up, he had to jump on it. And I think that's a great thing to do because Harrison Phillips has been a dominant number 2 defensive tackle, especially in the run game, for years. He was part of the success of the Minnesota Vikings defense last year. And then talking about Jawan Briggs and what he brings to this team, very young player, but had a really, when he got to play, very, very high run defense score. So he built this defensive line, which was a weakness before, and actually made it serviceable, which I'm very, very happy about. So he's done some really good things, and he seems to know what he's doing, which makes me comfortable. But I really think he desperately needs to work on this wide receiver room as well, and maybe add another linebacker or add another defensive end or both, and a receiver as well. But apparently there's still moves to be made. Darren Mougeys might have something cooking, and we don't know that yet. But just from listening to him today, I've calmed down a little bit and just interested to see what he can do as we get into the regular game season. First season game coming up very quick. Steelers are going to be here very, very shortly. So let's see what he's got up his sleeves. But that's not the only thing that happened today, guys. Big news. We've talked about players that have been on the trade block. We talked about Terry McLaurin. He got an extension from the Commanders. We talk about Jacoby Myers right now, but it doesn't look like the Raiders are going to want to trade him. We've talked about a lot of these players. But one player that came out and demanded a trade, Micah Parsons. And nobody thought the Cowboys were going to do it. But today, the Packers and Cowboys made a massive trade. The Packers have acquired outside linebacker / edge rusher Micah Parsons. They extended him as well. They gave him 4 years, $188 million. 137 of that is guaranteed, making him the highest non-quarterback in history at $47 million a year. Good for him. He's 26 years old. He's still a young player. And now you have to look at him and Rashawn Gary as 2 of the most explosive edge rushers on that Packers defense. Now, Packers still need some cornerback help. They could use a little bit. They traded Kenny Clark, so they could use another defensive tackle. But getting Parsons was a major move for the Packers. It made them so much more of a threat, especially in that division in the NFC North. Now, the Vikings have boosted that offensive line that they have, so that's going to be a good matchup to see over there with those tackles against Micah Parsons. The Bears built their interior offensive line, but their tackles are still a question mark. So that's going to be very interesting. And the Lions, their strength is offensive line too, but they've had some changes and everything. A shocking retirement earlier in the offseason. So there's some things that they're trying to mix and match as well. So the Packers are looking like they could be a dominant team in the NFC North. As long as Jordan Love plays like how we think he can, this team is one to watch out for. Green Bay Packers get Micah Parsons, and I know a lot of Packer fans are ecstatic about this, and Cowboy fans are not, because in return, what the Packers got, like I said, they got player Kenny Clark, who is 29 years old, has been a very good defensive tackle in his career in Green Bay. Had a down year last year, had 1 sack, but he's been banged up a little bit. He's been very underrated in my opinion. I think he's a very good player, very underrated player. But the Cowboys extended Odigizua and gave him a little bit more than $40 million a year. Kenny Clark is on a similar contract where I think he's getting paid like $43 million a year as well and change, or something around that. That's a really, really expensive contract for two defensive tackles, or a lot of money to two defensive tackles. And in all honesty, why couldn't you just have floated some of that money over to Micah Parsons? So it's a little bit shocking, but the Cowboys get Kenny Clark and they get 2 first-round picks. Now, the Packers are going to be good. So these first-round picks are going to be late-round picks, probably in the 20s, maybe late 20s, mid-20s. So, in all honesty, you look at this trade, and I think both teams got some solid things, because first-round picks are always helpful. No matter, I don't care wherever you pick from, first-round picks are always solid to have in your arsenal to try to trade up, to move up, or just to trade back and acquire more pieces. And Kenny Clark, I think, is an underrated player. So I think the Cowboys did pretty well. But honestly, the Packers won this trade. Micah Parsons is a generational player. And the Packers defense just got so much better with him there. If he can stay healthy, Micah Parsons can help that Packers defense dominate and open up some holes for Rashawn Gary to dominate as well, and other players that they have over there. And again, too, what are the Cowboys going to do now? They have some players that they might need to extend, or that might be unhappy with this. Does this move, and I'll ask Cowboy fans this, does this move indicate that you guys might be sellers? Could you be trading other big pieces? Could a Trayvon Diggs be traded next? I don't think it's going to happen, CeeDee Lamb. What are you going to do? Or Dak Prescott. How much faith do you have in Joe Milton? There's a lot of big pieces that you guys could move on from. Micah Parsons was a generational player, a young player still. And even Jerry said, I know Cowboys fans are probably not happy, in his press conference that only got over a little while ago, Jerry Jones said he could have extended Micah Parsons back in April. He could have done it. And that's got to piss off a lot of Cowboy fans, because he could have got this done. And the money that you're now paying Odigizua and Kenny Clark, you could have given some of that money to Micah Parsons, who you burned bridges with. We wouldn't even have this conversation if you just paid him in April, like you said you could have. So, Cowboys fans, Packers fans, let me know how you're feeling. Jets fans, let me know how you're feeling about Darren Mougeys' press conference as well today. I'm really excited to hear from you guys. And if you're not either a Jets fan, Cowboys fan, or a Packers fan, let me know how you guys are feeling about all these moves, especially the big trade between the Cowboys and Packers. And again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Hit that bell for any time that I upload videos, just so that you know when I do. And again, I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for joining me in the Jets Ward. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.